Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Major League Football.
Okay.
I'm your co-host Brent. This is Luke,
What's up, guys?
and let's talk about some shit. Let's
Yeah.
talk about some football.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our sponsor for today,
Yeah,
Peace Tea.
Peace Tea. It's
But
actually really good.
for real though, Peace Tea. If anything, I would love a sponsorship.
All right, so today we're gonna be talking about Copa America. We did the Euro predictions last time. This time we have Copa America. Some good teams, man.
Yes.
Some good groups.
Yes,
Four
indeed.
groups. A good amount of friendlies that we've been seeing. Somehow USA get destroyed by Colombia 5-1, but yet draw to Brazil. So USA makes no sense. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we do good, right? Who doesn't want to see a USA team do well?
Yeah, of course. If you see on the screen right now, it's our first appearance since 2016, and it's interesting that Copa America is inviting us for this 2024 tournament because it really is a good benchmark for where we're at here when we're 2 years out from 2026 World Cup in North America, where we want it to be this like springboard tournament that really gets the league going in MLS here, and also possibly just the national team having some success at a World Cup.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it'll be good publicity for the U.S. 2 years before a big tournament, the
Mm-hmm.
World Cup. The whole world's eyes is going to be on the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. So yeah, I think it's important that USA does good in this tournament. I'm not saying they have to go on to win it. I'm saying as long as they play decent and they get some good results, I think it'll be major for soccer here in the U.S.
Yeah,
Maybe we can start calling it football.
possibly.
With a little bit of an accent,
Yeah,
football.
just a little accent.
Yeah, that's why we're starting this channel, Major League
Yeah,
Football.
but I think it's just at this point after the Colombia loss, it's now can we do better than everybody else in CONCACAF that got invited?
Yeah,
But let's get into it, and we can just always check it out.
yeah. Let's start off with some gossip, man.
Okay.
There's some gossip in the world of
Yeah.
football.
Because you mentioned something early before we started the show that kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't hear it, so go ahead.
Yeah, so some big news today. Eden Terzic, manager of Borussia Dortmund, he resigns. And you said you find it kind of surprising, don't you?
I found it surprising. This is the first time me hearing this. Maybe I'm living under a rock. I was doing projects, but I I'm surprised, honestly.
Yeah, I am surprised, but at the same time I'm not because he's a great manager. He started off as a scout, became the first team coach after being in a couple assistant positions. But I think after the last match they lost last season and taking this Dortmund side to the final, I think some coaches would find it very hard to kind of start fresh, start new, have that same type of motivation. I mean, and to be fair, I'm just guessing. I don't know what his reason for resigning is, but he stated, I think it's better if Dortmund starts the new season with someone with a fresh perspective on things, right? Something along those lines, he said. And I think that's a wise decision because if he doesn't have the motivation, the heart to go back and give it his all, then he's letting someone else do it. I think that takes a lot. That takes a big man to admit that. You
Yeah,
know.
I
So
I didn't know he said that too. So that's again something surprising.
yeah, and surprisingly, one of the top candidates is Nuri Sahin, former Real Madrid player.
And we mentioned on the stream or
Yep,
the show.
yep.
Yeah,
We
during
did
the
mention
during
him.
the final. Yeah, Brent did point him out.
So yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Um, Good midfielder in his day. I'm not too familiar with his tactics or his impact on Dortmund,
Mm-hmm.
but I say, he knows the club well. He played there for a while. So, yeah, we'll see how he does.
Okay.
Hopefully he gets a job too.
Yeah, I would I would just have to say we'll have to see
Yeah.
what happens and where he goes and what Dortmund's gonna do next.
And interesting to see where Eden goes too.
Yeah,
Maybe he goes to the Premier League.
yeah. We'll have to see. There are some spots that are definitely
Yeah.
up for grabs
And
in and around Europe.
Premier League likes to fire midway through the season too, so
Mm-hmm.
we could see him there. He's
That's that's why I think Tuchel is not too excited or too eager to get into a role because he knows he can sit back, He can
Yeah.
enjoy a couple 6 to 8 months off.
Someone's
Getting
fuck up.
sacked during Christmas period.
Someone's getting sacked. I think it's kind of interesting how just like a couple weeks ago, Eric Ten Hag, it was like almost like a for sure thing that he was getting fired. Like they were like he's gonna get sacked regardless of FA Cup results.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, through a miracle, he wins the FA Cup. Not through a miracle, but through hard work, right? Through hard work, good tactics. But no one expected it. Did you expect that?
No,
I didn't.
I didn't even watch the game because I thought it was going to be so obvious.
Exactly. I thought Man City was going to destroy them. In almost every match they've played, Man City outclasses them. But to our surprise, Eric Ten Hag pulled one on Pep Guardiola, and I think that might have saved him his job. I really do think because until then it was like, yep, he's not coming back next season, but he got him a trophy. And I mean, is that enough to keep the fans happy, to keep the board happy? I guess so, right? But the funniest part was they were negotiating with Tuchel to take over the job. Tuchel said no. They couldn't come to an agreement. And now they're going back to Eric Ten Hag saying, oh, well, we supported you the whole time. Here's a 2-year extension. But it's like, how confident would you be as a manager if you know all this is going on in the background? And all of a sudden they're like, oh, we actually believed in you the whole time. That doesn't really promote too much confidence.
Not at all.
So we'll see how he does next season. I personally have never really been a big fan of his tactics or his like man-to-man coaching. But, I guess some people are, right? I don't know if the United fans even like him.
It's a mixed bag. I think majority would say Ten Hag is not fit for the job.
Yeah.
I do think he did catch a bad break this season with injuries.
He did.
I'll have to give it to that. I'll mark him off for his first season where he had this whole power struggle with Ronaldo. This year I thought possibly they would have at least his chance to be his team, and all the injuries happened, so I think he deserves at least one more year. I kind of want to see what he can do with that. I guess Garnacho, Diallo, and then Hoyland, and then you have Kobe Manu in midfield, and then Lissandro. That's your spine for the next 2 years, possibly 5 years.
And Onana.
And Onana, yes. Yeah. Onana, you would have to put that in there.
And I guess Sancho's coming back, right? So,
but I think he's gone.
You think he's gone? You don't think they make peace?
There's well, it just in past history, he seems to not make peace with those players.
That's true. He doesn't, right? The thing is, I think if I was the board, right?
Yeah.
I would say, look at what this dude did with Dortmund. Like, I'll never forget that masterclass performance against PSG, the first leg. Like he tore that team apart. I think if I'm the board, I'm telling Ten Hag, you got to make up with this player. Like, I'll sit them down in a room and I'll be like, all right, let's talk it out, guys, because you're too good of a player not to have in the team. And like, we already invested $100 million in you. Same thing with Anthony, but I think Sancho's peak is higher than Anthony's, just based on performance, right?
I think that's the general consensus, but
yeah,
from Ten Hag's history, he seems to give Anthony more chances.
He does.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his attitude.
They go back to Ajax together.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And Anthony doesn't like to ruffle Ten Hag's feathers as much as maybe Sancho did. I don't know what Sancho necessarily did. I don't know the whole details between that.
Yeah. I think it's something with training and then not apologize. Something petty like that.
It's an odd show at United, I would have to say. But for a team that's a little bit more well put together, well rounded in Arsenal, I think just transitioning to them a little bit.
You take Sancho at Arsenal?
Oh yes, I would take Sancho. For
You don't need a right winger though. You can put him on the left though.
Yeah,
put him on the left.
I think we would love a versatile wide man like that.
Yeah, because you struggled a little bit with Martinelli being out, and then you try Jesus out there. You try who's that other dude who's always scoring the goals for you guys?
Trossard?
Yeah, Trossard out there. So I think having just like a pure winger that can also fill in for Saka, fill in for Martinelli, that would be a great buy. Do you need him necessarily? Are you willing to pay 60 mil for him? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is all just a little speculative, fun fantasization.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I would love him though because he would add a little bit more flair to our attacking threats. I think a lot of our, especially left wingers, Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli, are both very good dribblers, but they have a very direct style of dribbling. It's very I credit it. I love it. I love to see it. But when they tend to make a skill or try to beat a man, it's usually towards the goal or towards a common goal. While Sancho mainly can kind of do that slaloming, kind of slinging run that's a little bit more of, I'm just going to run through everybody. It may not work out per se, but I might beat a man and then possibly I can have somebody open or I can have a chance to do something. So I think we need some type of variety in our attack like that. I would definitely appreciate something like that at Arsenal.
Yeah. No, I think whatever team ends up landing him, whether it's United or another team, I think he's going to do well. We'll see how he mends his relationship with Ten Hag.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing to his success at United. But yeah, I think that's my point on it.
Yeah.
Another news. Earlier this week, I don't know if you saw it, but Real Madrid said that they weren't going to play in the Club World Cup. So they have a new tournament starting next year, summer of next year, where basically I think they're doing like a 32 team. They're trying to mimic the World Cup, but Club World Cup. So they're inviting like all the best teams from like each federation. And I think the biggest issue was originally they were lowballing Real Madrid for like compensating them for their participation. So this is a quote from Carlo Ancelotti. He said, Real Madrid make 20 million per game, right? Like one Real Madrid game is worth 20 million. And he's like, they're offering us 20 million for the whole tournament. And he's like, we're not going to play until we're compensated properly, right? So this was on Monday. A few hours later, like maybe like 4 to 6 hours later, the official Real Madrid page puts out, of course we're going to play in next year's Club World Cup. Like, our participation was never in doubt. And so it kind of brings up a little bit like, mixed signals. I mean, obviously it's not too mixed now because the Real Madrid page confirmed that they will participate. But to hear that coming from your coach, I think his intention was, on top of the season that we're going to have, the Champions League season, the La Liga season, the Copa del Rey, and all those little other competitions since we won the Champions League. You want us to play in the Club World Cup so we don't get rest in the summer, right? The players don't. And then you're going to lowball us with 20 mil? Like, that's dangerous for the players, right? That's like you're overworking them, especially because next year, the year after that, they got a World Cup. And then this year, they got summer tournaments, right? So it's like almost 2 straight years of soccer back-to-back with maybe a month break, I mean, none of your players are going to friendlies, the preseason friendlies. They're taking that time off. You're bringing the youth team to the friendlies. And then, I don't know, I guess that hurts sales and tickets for, like, whatever nation you're touring, whether it's the U.S. or Asia or whatever it may be. So I understand where he's coming from, that maybe financially it's not a great decision. But merit-wise, I think you got to participate in the first of this type of tournament. Even though Real Madrid, President Florentino, and FIFA are known for clashing against each other or with each other about like participation in certain leagues, like super leagues, for example, or just tournaments in general. So, what do you think about that?
I think it's interesting. I'm honestly very pleased they did it because whether it goes through or not, whether they got lowballed or not, I don't necessarily care because Real Madrid make millions and billions of dollars annually. It's that a club took a stand towards FIFA for another tournament that I do think is starting to really stretch the players. We're entered this time now where injuries at an all-time high, big clubs, rosters have gotten tremendously big, like almost to the level of small football teams. I'm talking American football teams, like something like a high school team would have. And it's only the sign of what the game is. The game is fast now. The game is intense. The game is played at a crazy frequency. I mean, it's what once season's gone, it's what 3 or 4 matches a game a week that some of these players go through in the top leagues, and it's only putting more and more miles, and it's only showing that we're going to burn out players. We're going to really, really burn these players out, and I really think we may need to hold back on what we're doing with these club competitions, or even international competitions. How many games we're allowing these players to play without any rest? I know it's for the financial benefit of the organizations, but how much can they benefit, and how long are we going to let some of these athletes go on? I mean, of course, they're getting paid millions of dollars, but I mean, to put your body through that regimen and that routine year after year after year, it starts to really wear on the body, and it's only going to make the lifespan of a footballing career shorter and shorter. I don't know necessarily. That's a good thing. We'll have to see the effects of it.
Yeah, definitely. You're also gonna get less quality of football, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like because you can't play. Like I think Pep Guardiola said this season. He said you can't play at the highest level every single game with the type of schedule that we have currently. There's gonna be some games where you look really sluggish, and there's gonna be some games where you look badass and you're at your like peak, right? And especially like you were saying, like the creation of all these new international tournaments. Like you got friendlies, you got Euro qualifiers, you got Copa America,
The Nations
Leagues, you got World Cup qualifiers, right?
CONCACAF stuff.
So you got all these in between tournaments where not only do they have to travel on top of already traveling, you know, if you're playing internationally or intercontinental tournaments, but now you're traveling maybe from Europe to South America, which is like a time zone difference, right? And then you're traveling back, and then you got 2 days to prepare for like a game on Saturday, right? So like all this stress, you know, especially while you're trying to maintain your body at like its highest peak performance condition, I think that is definitely stressful. Maybe not immediately, but long term wise, right? Like especially like if you already are prone to injury or you have a history of injury, which a lot of players seem to be getting more injuries these days, whether it's muscular injuries or something deeper than that. Um, we'll see how this impacts football, but like you said, like I think teams are having to have huge rosters now to compensate for the amount of games. They're gonna have to have like 30 active players
Yeah.
that can step in and play well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all of them have to be like super elite. You're gonna have your handful of like top elite world class players on these big teams that carry and play most of the games. But you gotta have like those bench players who come in and get the job done. I think that's the difference between like super elite teams and like those mid table teams. Like Man Cities and Real Madrid's, they have those bench players who come off and can still perform. And like even when you have injuries to major key players, they come in and perform the role and even grow into that role, and the team changes around them. So I think that's the biggest thing: players' health and mental health too. You know, like the stress, and then coaches having to manage that a little bit better. And then you're gonna put a lot of that, a lot more pressure on like the physical recovery coaches, the therapy coaches, the medical staff, all those people to make sure their team is running well. So I think it should be interesting how it will play out. We've seen a little bit of fatigue this season, especially earlier this season. Remember, we saw a lot of injuries, but I'm not sure. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
You think it's a good
Let us
thing?
know.
You think it's a bad thing? I'm not sure. We'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah. But I think it's time for a little bit more of a lighter subject, and I think it's time to guess some international tournaments.
Yeah, let's get into Copa America.
All right,
Let's enjoy it now.
yeah, let's get into it. All right, but here we are right here, the Copa America tournament predictor by FOTMob. Again, FOTMob, give us a shout out again. This is probably the billionth time we're going to do this, but until you give us a sponsorship, we are going to do this.
FOTMob.
Of course, the great continent of South America. At Copa America, we have obviously the winners here. Argentina coming in with 9, 7-7 from Chile and Uruguay. 6 by Brazil, 6 by Peru, which I didn't know actually. I didn't know you guys were what?
Yo, when's the last time we won it though?
2004.
That's pretty recent.
That's pretty recent.
That's
Do
in
you
my
remember that?
lifetime. No,
I mean, but you were obviously 5 or 6.
But look at before that, bro.
57, 53,
yeah,
39.
It's been a minute.
Yeah,
since before
the 50s and the 30s. You guys were crazy.
But yeah, 2004. That's pretty fucking recent, man.
Oh wait, what the fuck? I'm sorry. This is hosts. I'm sorry. This is hosts.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
It was too good to be true.
That is too good to be true.
All right, let's look at winners.
Look at winners, champions.
You gotta go
all the way down.
Yes,
this is team records, invitees. This is not it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Is this it?
That's titles, yeah.
Yeah,
Titles.
there we go, there we go, there we go.
So,
okay, 75. 75 is the last time you won it, but
okay, that seems
okay.
more
That's
recent.
more accurate to what I think.
Okay.
I was okay. Scratch that. Argentina, Uruguay with 15, Brazil with 9, Paraguay with 2, Chile with 2, Peru with 2, Bolivia with 1, and Colombia with 1.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I think has every team in South America won it once?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What team is missing?
I believe Venezuela.
Oh yeah, it is Venezuela.
Venezuela's never won it.
Yeah, poor Venezuela.
Yeah.
That's the only team who hasn't won it.
But that is the teams, and of course, I don't know if you would know this, but to the viewers that don't know, there's only a certain amount of teams. How many countries are there all in South America?
There's 9 countries.
There's 9 countries, so there's only 9 members in the South American Continental Federation, and so they invite international teams to come into the Copa America to help fill out the gaps, and it's actually very interesting because now we got the CONCACAF, and we had some big players come in.
Yeah,
the Canada, the Mexicos, the United States of America. So this is actually a very, very interesting Copa America, I believe.
And the interesting part is we've had so many invitees come. Like Japan is a frequent one. Mexico's always there.
Yeah.
USA has been there a couple times.
Yeah.
But no person, no team who we've invited before has ever won it. And I'm just wondering, imagine your continent hosts a tournament and one of your, invitees come and win it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to see that happen one day. Maybe not this tournament, but one day.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cool to see.
Well, we might have to talk about that as we talk about some of the players that were invited this tournament. But do you want to get straight into analysis and the picks?
Let's go. Let's get into it.
All right, so starting off with Group A, we do have
Argentina.
Argentina, the former winners of the World Cup and the last Copa America. So they're coming in on a high when it comes to international teams.
A huge high.
Success is concerned.
Huge high.
Then rounding out the group, we have Canada, a frisky Canadian team.
Good players.
Chile.
Yeah, good players.
Yep.
Chile
as well. And then, of course, Brent's team, Peru.
Yeah, we got Peru playing. So let's start with Argentina.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of a analysis, how we always go back and we look at current form.
What can you say about Argentina?
So I'm looking at Argentina's current form right now, right? And they've had 2 losses. So since they won the World Cup, they've only had 1 loss. Can you guess who that team was to? Do you remember?
I have it up right now, so on the
you already
on
saw
the laptop.
it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get
I'm
trying to get the viewers so that way they get some visuals.
All right.
But
Well, if you guys didn't guess it or see it already, it's Uruguay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty freaking impressive because
Yeah.
it's been like a year and a half or so, and to only lose to Uruguay, which let's see who scored. Yeah, it was Ronald Araujo and Darwin Nunez, the GOAT, as Liverpool fans would say.
Yes.
Anyway, so I think Argentina's coming in pretty hot. They've gotten some good wins. They got a recent win over a fellow South American competitor, Ecuador. Um, and overall, I mean, you can't doubt that Argentina has quality. They still got Messi,
Yeah.
who's playing almost like, when you've already achieved everything in a game and you're just kind of playing relaxed. You're playing for fun. You're not really stressing out. Whether he wins this Copa America or not, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
He's still the GOAT. And he's gonna, but it's probably his last Copa America. So
I would have to say so.
He's definitely gonna probably enjoy it. He's gonna have to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I
think he's been overall enjoying this kind of golden era of his career. This sunset part of what caps off an amazing career, and he's enjoying himself in Miami, and I think he's gonna enjoy this tournament. But other than Messi, we do have such a stacked Argentinian team. I think this team is set for when Messi finally decides to retire and move out of that international play entirely.
Yeah.
I think this team is ready to compete even without Messi, even if he decided he didn't want him to come.
I think this team is pretty stacked from defense to offense, man. I think we got some fan favorites coming back. Di Maria,
of course.
He scores in every final, so he's definitely a fan favorite.
Definitely.
We got young players like Julian Alvarez, who basically, helped Messi. He was basically his co-star at the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Providing some very crucial goals.
Practically have won everything as a 24-year-old.
Yeah. I don't know if he's won the Copa America. I don't know if he was in the last Copa America team.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. But this is his chance to win it. If they can go back to back, that'd be very impressive. And it would only help Messi's argument as the GOAT. So we'll see what happens. We also got some other players in midfield coming. McAllister, he's been pretty good this season for Liverpool. For a while, like they were like in the title race, and they were looking like the favorites for a while, But I think, did he get injured? If I'm not mistaken, he got injured at some point this season, and it's good to see him back. Another player who got injured, who was also like a starter in the World Cup, Enzo Fernandez, who hasn't had the best time at Chelsea. He's been really struggling to find his form, find his footing. But, there's no doubt that he has quality, and, every time he plays for Argentina, he does a good job. Other notable players, we got, I'm surprised. Lissandro Martinez makes it into the lineup, even though he's been out like the second half of the season, like just injured,
I think he's a key player in there. So I'm not only on the field but off the field.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to bring some inclusivity, some glue, some energy to the team.
Yeah, so good on Lionel Scaloni for bringing back the fan favorites and kind of like you said, that core, that glue of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got Emiliano Martinez, the keeper with the most antics, man.
Of course, Emmy,
the most shithousery goalkeeper.
Kind of having a shaky year.
A little bit
behind the sticks for Aston Villa.
A little bit. He started off really good. He started off super strong, and then got a little shaky as the end of the season came. Which I mean, maybe there's a lot of factors to that.
Yeah.
But overall, still a great goalkeeper. Anything else to add about Argentina?
No, stacked team. That's all I can say.
Okay.
I could said that. We could have said that a little quicker, but of course, I had to get into the players.
You gotta get over you gotta go over the fan favorites. All right, let's go over to Canada. Let's see how Canada's doing.
Oh, Canada, which I think is a very feisty team.
You think so?
I haven't said it yet. Well, I teased it previously, but of course, I think the USA's goal now is to be the best invitee to the tournament this year, and Canada is going to be one of those teams that might outperform us just by what I've seen so far with the Colombian loss.
Maybe.
Yeah. But Canada, very, very interesting team. We, of course, have the great Alphonso Davies playing a little bit more up the field in a kind of a more of a left wing position instead of his traditional role as a left back. But very exciting, all action left back player, you would call him. And then I think there's not really any big names that come to mind. I think Buchanan. Where's Buchanan? I thought of Buchanan. I thought I knew a player named Buchanan that might be good. Am I tripping? Oh, and then Jonathan David, of course. You were pointing. You could have just said it.
Oh, well, I was just saying,
But I think I really don't know many names, but I try to think of a player named Buchanan that did kind of well during the World Cup last time that I remember.
Really?
But I don't know if he's in the squad.
Oh, yeah, he's a defender.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. He plays, I'm guessing fullback.
He does. I think I remember him.
Yeah, he plays right back.
I think I remember him connecting with not with Jonathan David, of course, but I think also Alphonso Davis with a couple of crosses. So that's why I think has a good delivery, at least from what I remember. But of course, the main players, Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, having some two like proven internationals.
Yeah.
Of course, with also being coached by Jesse Marsh, a fellow American.
Why does that name sound familiar?
He coached RB Leipzig or RB Salzburg.
Okay.
And then he also coached Leeds.
Oh, okay. He sounds familiar.
That's his most recent stuff.
Okay.
This doesn't really have. This is his playing career, I believe. So they don't really have his coaching career. But let me pull it up real quick because I'm almost for certain those are the two probably well-known jobs he's done.
Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, he was Salzburg. He was at Leipzig for a little bit, and then he went to Leeds, his last job.
I think that's where I recognize him from Leeds because that name definitely sounded familiar.
But yeah, interesting manager.
Yeah,
but a team something to prove for this tournament.
Yeah, and they're coming in pretty good form. They just recently drew Canada. They have lost a couple games, but
Canada just recently drew Canada.
No, I'm sorry. I meant they recently drew France.
Yeah.
So they recently drew France. They lost pretty badly to Netherlands. They won Trinidad and Tobago, which is the only competitive game they've had in the last couple games. Oh, but besides losing to Jamaica, but Jamaica's just a solid team overall. And the weird thing is they beat Jamaica and then lost to them within the span of 3 days.
Interesting.
And and they lost at home, but they won away. They lost to Japan back when Japan was whooping everyone. And they drew with the U.S., but lost on penalties. So they're coming in kind of a mixed form, actually. Not doing too hot, but not doing really bad either. All right, let's move on to Chile.
Yeah, Chile.
So let's see who we got in Chile. You want to look at the squad first?
Yeah, let's look at the squad.
All right, so... here's the fun fact about Chile. They actually have Peru's former coach. The coach who led us to, the third place, second place finish, 2 third place finishes, and 1 second place finish.
Okay.
Ricardo Gareca.
He's Chilean.
He is Chilean. No, he's Argentinian.
He's Argentinian.
Yeah,
my bad.
He's Argentinian, and but now he's coaching for Chile. And that's worrisome because he's actually a really good coach.
Yeah.
I have no idea why Peru didn't renew him. All I know is that he has some sort of conflict with the Peruvian president, Federation president of football, and he just didn't want to give him a contract. He didn't want to give Ricardo Gareca a contract. And I have no idea why. Why would you not want to give the man who led you to a second place finish and 2 third place finishes in a stacked, basically conference where you have Argentina and Brazil constantly winning, or back then it was Chile, right? Who was constantly winning. So I don't know why that was his decision, but I'll get into Peru a little bit later. Let's look at the notable players.
But that's interesting to note that you're going to have that meeting in the group.
First match too.
Yeah, which will be interesting to watch. So look out for that. And any notable players you see here on the Chile team that comes to mind?
We got Claudio Bravo, goalkeeper.
Of course, Mr.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Barca. Let's see who else we got. We got Alexis Sanchez.
And of course, the legend.
Yeah, Arsenal legend.
Yeah, of course. Love for Alexia always. Uh, Bentron Diaz, he just got signed for Sheffield United in the winter, I believe.
I do remember seeing him this season.
He was doing a couple of things with United, is what I remember. Of course, they had a terrible season in the Premier League, but there were some bright moments from some players, and Diaz was one of those.
Okay, yeah. So
But-
they got not as many players as I remembered from the previous World Cup editions and Copa America editions.
It's kind of gone away from that golden era of
Winning back-to-back Copa Americas.
yes,
Yeah.
of
But,
Vidal and Sanchez
yeah.
kind of leading that line.
Arturo Vidal.
Uh-huh.
They do got this dude who I personally don't like, not because of him as a person, just him as a player, because he scored on Peru a few times, caused us some heartache. Eduardo Vargas.
Oh, Vargas, yes, I remember Vargas.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's a little bit older now. He's 34 years old. He's playing for, I think that's Atlético Mineiro in Brazil. And so a few friendly faces from the past. But yeah, like I think Luke said, I think the golden generation is definitely not there anymore. But they do have a really good coach, so I think they should be doing pretty well in that group.
Another feisty team in that group. 3 feisty teams along with Peru.
Yeah, let's get into Peru. Let me talk some shit. All right. So, no, I'm serious.
No, go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
The Peruvian, I don't know what the Peruvian Football Federation is doing right now. Because let's go to fixtures first, go to fixtures. Let's look at these previous matches, man. Because it's not looking good, man. So, it's what happened. Just scroll up a little bit, right? Scroll up.
Where do you want me to start?
So don't let these last 4 results fool you. Which is basically we drew to Paraguay. 1-4-1 against Dominican Republic, 1-2-0 against Nicaragua, and drew against Venezuela. These were all matches that we should have won convincingly. Don't pay attention to the friendlies. Pay attention to the previous matches where we went on a terrible streak. Lost 4-1 to Japan. Drew 0-0 against Paraguay. What did I just click? 1 sec. Okay. All right, here I am. All right. Lost 4-1 to Japan. Drew 0-0 to Paraguay. Lost 1-0 to Brazil at home. Lost 2-0 to Chile. Lost 2-0 to Argentina. Lost 2-0 to Bolivia. And then drew 1-1 at home to Venezuela. These are all competitive matches aside from the Japan one. And you know what happened? We fired our coach. And those 2 friendly matches that we recently won against Nicaragua and Dominican Republic, those were the interim coach taking charge and coaching. We just recently got a new coach that we appointed. And the first match, which is not that important, I mean, it was a home match against Paraguay, but we had 0 shots on target.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see it.
0 shots on target.
Wow.
At home, in front of our crowd, and we couldn't even shoot on target once in 90 minutes. So, I'm not very keen on this team. Jorge Fossati, he's a former coach de la U, which is basically like Universitario Lima. There you go, Universitario de Deportes de Lima. So he did pretty good with la U. He's 71 years old.
I see that.
So he's a little bit older in age. Why we didn't renew Gareca, I will never know. I'm not thinking that we're going to have a very strong tournament, I'll be honest. And I think he may go after this tournament, if I'm being honest.
I can see that. Just by what I've seen from Gareca, is how you say it?
Gareca,
Gareca.
whatever you say it.
From what I've watched from him from the last tournament, he seemed to have a very chill, very laid back, suave vibe. This guy right here, maybe this photo doesn't do well for him. But he seems like the weird uncle, old uncle.
He's scared, bro. He's scared of this tournament. He's not prepared.
He doesn't look like he's fit for a national team coaching position.
Why do we want to give this old man a heart attack?
No, I don't want to.
He wants to just chill. Go chill, man. Go retire. Enjoy your life, Fossati. Just Why are you? All right, let's go into players.
Fossati, just let it go.
Let's go into players. All right, we got Pedro Gallese coming back as our goalkeeper. Pedro Gallese coming back as our goalkeeper. Last 10 years, he's been the absolute shot stopper.
Okay.
For Peru.
Yeah.
Plays for Orlando City. I don't know how well he does there, but we got Carlos Zambrano. He's a walking red card. He's the Sergio Ramos.
Really?
He's the Sergio Ramos of Peru.
For all those people who like to bet on sports games, there you go.
Yeah,
there's a good tip for you.
He's a walking yellow card / red card.
Maybe you can put that in a parlay somewhere.
All right, we got Luis Advíncula. He's the Flash, bro. He's our Flash. He's a defender. Luis Advíncula. Here you go. He's our right back. Okay. Super fast man, bro.
34 still got it.
Yeah, he's still got it. He's maybe slowing down a little bit, but he's super fast. He's ridiculously fast. So I trust him. And in midfield, we got, oh, wow, I didn't know. Christian Cueva. He's been kind of like our number 10 / like box-to-box 8 for the last like few tournaments. I didn't know he look at him making his money.
That's cool.
At Al Fatah.
That's nice. You two could be related.
We could be.
It's like, 6 degrees separation.
Yeah.
You're probably like a friend of a uncle of a granddaughter or whatever.
If he's from Lima, we might be somewhat related.
Yeah. But okay.
Yeah. So
he's getting his money in, and who else?
He went to Saudi Arabia.
Guerrero, of course.
Oh yeah, our goat, the Peruvian goat, the best player. Well, arguably one of the best players. He's our top scorer.
40 years old.
That's commitment.
Damn.
It's definitely his last Copa. I said that last Copa.
You did.
I said this last Copa. I was like, this is his last Copa. This man resurrected. He's like, I'm winning this shit. I'm sorry, bro. Not with this coach. We'll see what happens. He's slowed down a little bit, but he's still really good. And then our other striker. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more players. Gianluca Lapadula. He's Italian born but Peruvian descent. He never made it for Italy, so he was like, fuck it, might as well represent Peru. That's actually what happened.
Well, I mean, why not? We'll get into the U.S. and we have those players as well.
Yeah, that's true. So, I don't know. Oh, dude, he played for Claudio Ranieri in Cagliari.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he just retired, remember? Claudio Ranieri?
That's right.
He said, I'm done. He promoted. He got them promoted. He didn't get them relegated, and then he's like, all right, I'm
Peace
good.
Out. Yeah, I'm good. This is too much.
When you win the league with Leicester, bro, like you can fucking retire when you want.
He did the smart thing because at that age when you're coaching, it's just I imagine it just stresses you out. Like, of course, we talked about the head coach of Peru. You just go sit on the beach. I can think of what's his face from Crystal Palace this season. What's his name? He's the old owl-looking dude.
Can't remember.
Roy Hodgson.
Oh, yeah.
Roy Hodgson was nearly 80 and he was coaching. He just was completely out of his element.
Yeah, former England coach.
Instead of, like, sacking him, they just ushered him out the way. Like, come on, Roy. It's your time.
Yeah, I mean...
You just can't be at that age and be at the speed.
I mean, Fergie knew when to quit.
Yeah.
He did.
He did.
I mean, I think the only person who can handle it right now is Carlo Ancelotti, and he's, like, 65, so he's getting up there in age. And he said this is his last coaching job. He's like, after this, I'm done. Which, like, there's nothing after Real Madrid, dude. Just probably Italy, like we were talking about last time. He could coach Italy, and it'd be, like, pretty chill. But I say, whatever.
Can't do that. But did you want to shout out one more player?
One more player. This player, dude. Fossati, you gotta start this man, all right? He's the only man who had a desire to put a shot on target last game. And every time I see him play, he consistently tries his best. And in Peru, we call him las orejas flores.
Okay.
Which means big ears. That's just what, you can see kind of his ears are a distinct feature,
Oh my word, you guys are so unhinged.
Yeah.
But that's hilarious. Edson Flores, that's hilarious.
Yeah, start this man. He's the only one who cares. He's the only one who wants a shot on target, which is what we need right now. Anyway, let's do predictions.
Yeah, let's get into predictions. Oh my word. All right. So Argentina first, obviously.
Yeah.
Who are you going to put in second?
I'm going to say Peru, bro.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not going to say Peru.
Oh, wow.
My heart says Peru. But my mind actually says Canada.
My mind's telling me no. But yeah, I think it was either Canada or Peru for me. Canada.
Did they change?
But Canada or
yeah.
Peru.
Yeah.
No, that was just me fucking up words.
Yeah.
So
maybe they'll do it one day. Canada.
Maybe, but
try it, Canada.
That's what I do believe.
You think Chile finishes last?
I think Chile.
Oh wow,
last.
okay. Shout out, Peru finishing third, maybe second. I mean, if Peru just gets their shit together, bro, I swear, if we just lay off the fucking pipe and just fucking dedicate our life to sports, we can make it. All right, we can make it.
You were kind of surprised when I said.
I was. I thought you were gonna put Peru in fourth. I would like. Honestly,
you want to put Peru in fourth?
Logically, I do think Peru's gonna finish.
Really?
Fourth. Yes, I really do.
You think your former coach is gonna get one up on you? And you can't get some points on Canada.
So the first game of the tournament, or the second game of the tournament, is Peru Chile, and I do think. All right, that will be the deciding factor, right?
Yeah, it is.
If Peru somehow get a big FU on their former coach, then yeah, it's cool. I don't think that will happen because I think the former coach knows his players and he's going to tell Chilean players, target this dude in this way, and I promise you there will be a goal. And I think it's just too easy because I think, yeah, I do think Peru is going to finish fourth, but I do still think Argentina and Canada is going to go first and second. But I mean, we can keep it the other way, whatever you want, man.
I have.
If you think
I'm indifferent to this group, besides probably Canada, I don't want Canada to do well, but I do think they're finishing no lower than third in this group.
Yeah, same. I think Canada is a good team. I think they'll qualify.
Okay.
And I don't know if Chile's going to do that great. We'll see.
Let's just put Peru in third for the content.
All right, let's do it.
Do they have third place winners here as well?
They don't.
Okay, so
it doesn't matter either way.
Either way, just they got one over their manager. We'll just say that.
All right.
So Group B, Ecuador, Jamaica, Mexico, and Venezuela. A weaker group.
Yeah. Why didn't you give Peru that group? Anyway.
That would have been fun.
That would switch us with Venezuela, and maybe we have a chance. You know? All right. Let's start with Ecuador. Let's see. Let's look at notable players, man. They got any notable players? I know they have at least a couple.
Ecuador. Doesn't come to mind right now. Let's see what I see right now. As I'm scrolling, I see no one. I see no one.
Piero Incapie, center back for Bayer Leverkusen. Actually, like really good center back too.
Oh, okay, yeah. I missed him when I was scrolling.
Yeah, he's played a crucial part. He was a starter for Bayer Leverkusen, so they got him. That's Moises Caicedo for Chelsea.
Okay.
I didn't know he was from Ecuador.
Had an iffy season. Yeah, I think I remember that, but I forgot.
Most expensive Ecuadorian player in history. And they got Ener Valencia, who was overall a good player. Remember he played for West Ham. Yeah. I remember him from a couple tournaments as well. So they got a good team. Let's look at their recent matches. So they're coming in with mixed form. They just beat Bolivia 3-1, but they lost to Argentina, lost to Italy, understandably. Bigger teams. They beat Guatemala. They beat Chile though. And yeah, so
last half though. Looking good.
Yeah, not looking terrible, not looking great, looking pretty good. Looking, I would say more towards the positive side.
Yeah.
So that's how Ecuador stacked up. Let's look at Jamaica, man.
Jamaica, man.
Coming in pretty good, actually. The only losses they've had in their last few games, actually the last probably 15 games, have been to Canada and USA, understandably, the bigger teams of CONCACAF.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then back in with Mexico, but that
all the bigger teams of CONCACAF.
That's understandable.
It's understandable. And they drew with USA, right? Last year for the Gold Cup.
They did. Somewhere around there.
Yeah. So looking not bad, but not great.
Squad wise, I don't know if I know anybody. They have a Icelandic coach. That's hilarious.
Oh, interesting. I wonder how that happened. Maybe one of you guys investigating.
Yeah, let us know, Jamaican fans, what you got. Oh, of course, Mikel Antonio. You have Bobby Dico Dovereed of Fulham. those are the two notable names I see as I'm scrolling. But of course, I think Jamaica as a country and always going to bring some good energy to any tournament. So
Yeah, why didn't Raheem Sterling represent Jamaica?
that would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting if Raheem would have made that.
Why'd you pick England, dude? Is he even in the England squad?
Not anymore. Of course, he had his moment and then he was ushered out.
Yep.
But I think that's it for Jamaica. I want to get into Mexico real quick.
Mexico, of course.
Mexico.
Arguably the most successful team in CONCACAF history.
You could argue that.
But they haven't been having their best results recently. We'll get into results. Yeah, let's get into results right now since you're already on it.
Lost 3-2 to Brazil.
Lost 3-2 to Brazil. Last minute goal from Endrick. Now Real Madrid. It's always the Real Madrid players. And then, let's see. Also lost. Oh, wow. Nunes scored a hat trick on Mexico. Darwin Nunes.
Oof.
He's doing great. He's taken over Luis Suarez's role very nicely. Beat Bolivia 1-0. Lost to the U.S. 2-0. So they're coming in kind of like not great result-wise. And overall, do you remember that final they played against the USA a couple months ago in the CONCACAF Nations League final?
Very iffy because it was a boring match, I would have to say.
It was, but they didn't do anything.
They didn't especially do anything.
They did not present the threat to U.S. at all. So they haven't been looking like the dominating Mexico side that we're used to seeing from previous generations.
No.
They're looking. Let's look at some of their players and see if we can figure out why.
That's what I'm scrolling through right now. And I just don't see any big names. Of course, there's probably a lot of fantastic players that are from these League MX teams, but
do you notice who's missing from goalkeepers?
Is Ochoa gone? Ochoa is gone. Wow.
Ochoa. First time I haven't seen him.
He was almost getting up to 40.
Yeah.
At that point.
So I guess the decision's been made that we're going to move on from him, huh?
I think it is, true.
Wow. That's a big one. Other than that, I'm not really seeing...
Exactly. I don't... Edson Alvarez, of course, from West Ham. That's another one. That's probably the only thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, but I don't see any big players who play for big European sides. A lot of Mexican players who play in Mexico. Yeah, just Edson Alvarez, really. Yeah. So, let us know who's the favorite, who's the fan favorite from Mexico this year. Because I don't really know who to look out for. Maybe you guys have some, some secret weapon that we don't know about.
Yeah, Mexican, Canadian fans, let us know. Who do you think is going to finish or perform the best in this tournament between the CONCACAF teams? Let us know. And, of course, let's get into Venezuela real quick before we get into predictions.
You want to do matches first and see how they're coming in with the form?
Yeah, I'll get to matches real quick.
All right. They're looking not too hot, actually. They haven't won in 5 games. So they're coming in. Ooh. Yeah, they're coming in, drawing to Guatemala, losing to Italy, losing to Colombia, drawing Peru, drawing Ecuador, and then somehow they got a win against Chile. So that was actually back in October. So they're coming in not in the best form, actually, not in good form at all recently. Let's look at some of their players to see if there's anyone of note. So, do you recognize
anyone?
I know. Remember Solomon Rondon?
Okay.
Rondon. He used to play for Everton and West Brom back in the day.
Let's see. I don't see.
Yeah.
Anyone else? There's a defender from Real Sociedad, but his name is not familiar to me.
Yeah, Aramburu. Yeah, so
one of the weaker South American teams.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, they're the only South American team that's never won the Copa America. Maybe they'll do it this year. Maybe not. Probably not. Probably not. But let's make some predictions. I say Ecuador finishes first.
Okay. I would agree with you there. I think Venezuela finished 4th though.
I do. So it's just a toss up between Jamaica and Mexico. And that's a tough one.
Do you want to look at can you pull up head to head?
Yeah, so
I can pull that up too to see if I can.
I'll pull up head to head. I think we were talking about the only defeats that Jamaica's had has been to the Big 3.
That's right.
So I do think Jamaica will lose to Mexico. Um,
Last
and
time they lost to Mexico was in 2023 of July, and that was a 3-0. And they are with the head-to-head right here. So Jamaica only winning one. So I guess historically you would have to go with Mexico.
yeah, I would have to go with Mexico.
Okay.
Only one win. I mean, if Jamaica can pull it off, like power to them. But I think Mexico's not a terrible side. I think they have better quality players than Jamaica, in my opinion. I mean, they consistently make it to like CONCACAF finals, Gold Cup finals. So I think they should be able to just beat out Jamaica to make it onto the knockout rounds of the Copa America.
All right. So now going on to Group C.
Group C
with Bolivia,
look,
Panama,
your team
Uruguay,
right there.
USA, baby.
Yeah, our team, USA.
We have gone south of the border, and now we're going to see what we can do with the big boys in South America.
Yes, sir.
So far, my confidence is pretty shot. I know if you were to watch last episode, we were watching the Colombia versus USA game while we were talking about Euros, and honestly, that match has really shot my confidence. I was really looking forward to doing the show because I was going to come in with some confidence. I thought we were the big American brothers. We were going to come south of the border, and we were going to annihilate the South American Copa America. I thought we were going to do really well.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to win it. I thought we were going to go far, but now I can't do that. Now I can't make that outlandish take.
I mean, we drew against Brazil, so I mean, there's some hope, right?
Some hope.
We pulled off a result against a big team. We got our shit together after getting absolutely shit-faced and then going out and playing a game. Because they had to have been drunk to play that game, bro. Ain't no way they fucking lost 5-1 sober. And then to just, come and draw 1-1 against a good Brazil side.
Maybe that says more about Brazil than it does about Colombia.
That's a good point. That's a good
We'll have
point.
to see. But let's talk about this group because I think it's the two key people that I think are going to go through.
Yeah, and you want to just make it obvious?
Yeah, I think it is. I think this is the 1-2 as well.
Yeah. I think
I'm not gonna be
Uruguay
controversial.
and USA. What's up?
I said I'm not going to be controversial and think
Yeah.
the USA is going to jump Uruguay. I think we're going to get beat by Uruguay pretty heavily.
I think Uruguay is a good team. They got good players. They got Fede Valverde. They got Darwin Núñez.
Yes.
And they're just looking like they're in good form right now. As a matter of fact, let's start with them. Let's go to Uruguay because I want to see. They're coming in, only losing to surprisingly Ivory Coast in their last like 6-7 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we got to go back to Ecuador loss in the World Cup qualifiers. But other than that, they've been coming in looking hot.
Yeah,
They beat Brazil. They beat Argentina. They beat the two big teams in CONMEBOL. So, I think they're a good team. Let's look at their squad, man. See how many people we can recognize. Marcelo Bielsa. Is that the Marcelo Bielsa?
That is Marcelo Bielsa.
The Marcelo Bielsa.
I'm so happy now. I think I found a dark horse team I'm going to root for now. Wow.
That's
for anyone who doesn't know, one of the godfathers of football, Marcelo Bielsa, has managed a lot of teams over his career, as you can see kind of in this sidebar right here, and you can go look him up. He was recently at Leeds, and I was falling in love with him because hearing his story, hearing his tactics and the way he approaches the game. He's such a great manager, and I'm glad he found a place.
68 years old, and he's like, I'm still coaching,
but
man.
That's 68, and for someone like him, he's spry, bro.
Yeah.
He's the uncle you would want to talk to, you're looking forward to talk to at the cookouts.
Yeah. I'm sure he's more like hands off, more like, I'm just going to, spread my philosophy, because his philosophy is great. Even Pep Guardiola praises it. All the managers from our generation praise him, saying, he inspired them. But yeah, so that's interesting. No wonder they're playing pretty solid. Let's look at
that's got to. And then looking down, we got Jose Gimenez from Atletico Madrid.
A solid defender over the last couple years.
From Barcelona.
Ronald Araujo. He's a walking red card too, but hopefully he stays clean this tournament.
Then we got Ugarte from PSG, of course. Valverde, you talked about.
Federico Valverde.
Bentancur from Spurs.
Yeah. Luis Suarez, of course, the OG.
Wow. making another Copa America.
Yeah, having
Getting
fun.
up there.
He's
Getting up
having
there.
fun at Inter Miami.
Yeah,
He's just playing with his buds now.
Uh-huh.
And we got Darwin Núñez, of course.
Yes.
The dude who has yet to reach his potential, but he has good quality. As much as people make fun of him for hitting the post all the time, on his day, he can be like devastating because he's so fast, he's so strong, and if he just would stop hitting the post or just stop skying his fucking shots, he would be devastating. He'd be probably just as good as Holland, because he's definitely technical wise better than Holland, just not finishing wise, in my opinion. So yeah.
Just recently scored a hat trick. I don't know how far that was ago, but
that was the last match or 2 matches ago.
So looking in form for the tournament.
No, yeah, it was last match. It was last match against Mexico.
Okay, so
so looking in form.
That is good timing right there. I would say the least.
Great timing. Yeah, let's go to USA, man. What the people want.
USA, baby.
USA.
I mean, probably not the greatest, but probably the most talented American team there ever was.
Yeah,
I would have to say.
I would have to say recently. You can go back to the era of Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, when USA was it was kind of like after Beckham had just come to the MLS, and there was that huge soccer push to make it really big in the USA, and then we had great players like the legends, like I just mentioned, Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey. But I think since then, the USA kind of took a little dip, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't make the World Cup in 2018, and that was a huge killer for USA soccer and the momentum that we had built here. So it's great to see that we're coming back, and we have great players on our side. We kind of have a weird relationship with this coach, right?
Very much so.
I
have a lot of
we
weird feelings about him.
We fire him, and then we do really good under the interim manager, who I forgot what his name was, but we were doing great because we were playing free-flowing football. And then we bring him back, so I'm not really sure what's going on there behind the scenes. I know he had issues with Gio Reyna, that he didn't want to play him in the World Cup. And then he plays Gio Reyna in the recent couple matches, and Gio Reyna is man of the match in all those matches. So hopefully they resolve their issues for the better of their team. But yeah, let's look at some of the notable players, man.
Yeah, I mean, looking through the squad, I think, like you said, I do believe that 2010 era, that squad was really probably the most successful era we've had as a U.S. men's national team. This over here could probably potentially compete with that era, but we just so much talent, just not really living up to anything at this point. I really do see Matt Turner not being the greatest of goalkeepers. I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think he's a step down from what we've had in recent generations. Tim Reams is consistently been at Fulham, along with Anthony Robinson, who's kind of been a premier fullback in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then we got Chris Richards, who's promising at Crystal Palace. Joseph Scaly, who's at Mönchengladbach. That's another fullback that we've kind of seen as some promise that could probably be doing something.
Yeah.
Of course, Tyler Adams had his devastating hamstring injury. Has been out of the squad. Won't be competing this World Cup. That would have been a huge win to have him, our captain, and then one of the better midfielders we have.
Yeah.
And we got also McKinney coming, Way, Yusuf Musa. Of course, you said Gio Reyna.
You saw McKinney might be going to West Ham?
I'd say that's a solid move for him.
They're doing a trade, him, plus I forget the other player, for, who's that? Douglas Luiz. Not West Ham, I'm sorry, Aston Villa. That's what I meant. Yeah, Aston Villa.
Okay.
So Juventus want
Douglas Luiz
from Aston Villa.
And they're trying to get him with McKinney.
Yeah, they're trading McKinney plus one more player plus 20 mil.
Mm.
So I think they're overvaluing how much Douglas Luiz is worth. I mean, I'm not talking shit on Douglas Luiz. I'm just saying Weston McKinney's not a bad player.
It's got to be 20 mil.
Yeah, it was 20 mil.
Well, you can get 20 mil for him in the market.
So they're basically valuing him. I don't know what the other player's worth is, but probably they're valuing him at between 60 to 70 mil. I think
Yeah.
I think Brazilian tax is definitely
Mhm.
included. The Brazilian players always get.
'Cause I do
taxed.
remember maybe last summer we bid for Douglas Luiz 50 mil, and Aston Villa rejected it.
Oh wow, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Would you still want him at Arsenal?
I don't know. I would rather kind of want more of a mold of player that has more physicality,
Mm-hmm.
because I would either want something of that nature or something more of a creative outlet that could replace Odegaard. I either want to be able to have a player that frees up Rice and Odegaard, or be able to come in and fill in for Odegaard when he's not playing, because I think we lose a huge amount of creativity when he's not in the squad.
That's fair.
But back to
yeah.
the subject of the Copa America.
Did you mention Gio Reyna?
I did just mention briefly Gino Reyna, of course.
Yeah.
That's such a weird saga. I don't even know, like, he didn't want to play him, and then his Gio's mom or something leaked stories about.
Yeah, something. With
It
Gio's
was messy as hell.
It was.
But I'm glad to see he's playing. He's getting consistent minutes for the national team. He needs to figure out what he needs to do club wise. Obviously, it's not worked at Dortmund. He went to Forest for 6 months. Didn't work out there. He needs to find some footing.
He does.
Like what Pulisic would say. Of course, the Mr. Captain America.
Yeah.
I think we got to get these players some consistent game time, and then we also have Florian Balogun, a British American, coming to us.
Oh, really?
Because Florian playing for Arsenal at youth product and then getting sold to Monaco. Decent player. He was English for most of his youth career, and now I switched to USA because obviously can't make that team.
That team is stacked.
Obviously, you got Kane and everyone else making up that line, but also had you right playing for Coventry. It's talent. It's talented, but
yeah,
I'm very concerned because we just have not delivered with this coach, with this squad, and this is going to be one of those tournaments that I think something goes wrong. We don't get out of the group. We do a lackluster performance in the knockout stages. Might send alarm bells to we need to do something quickly because we're about to host a World Cup. We need to do well to get this whole America's going to be a soccer loving nation going. If that agenda is going to need to take place or wants to take place, you're going to have to hit markers and checkpoints down the way, and we have to do this at this Copa America.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is a crucial Copa America for the USA. And honestly, I think a second place finish in that group is not bad.
No, I wouldn't say so.
And we'll see who we play whenever we move on in this tournament.
I think it's mandatory we make the groups. Or make it out of the groups.
Yeah.
If we don't make it out of the groups, Burkholder's gone. Yeah. He has to be gone.
Which might not be a bad thing.
No, I don't think so either. But let me see if I can... Can I move that? Oh, yes. Thank you. Technology. But let's go down to the final group, and then we can go in the knockout stages.
Okay. Well, let's just cover Bolivia, Panama real quick.
Oh, did we? I'm so sorry. I'm so disrespectful. I'm
wanna,
sorry. Look at me, an American coming in to your conference.
So, just real quick. We'll pay it its respect. Bolivia coming in terrible form, actually. If you look at their form, man, it's just really bad. It's just a lot of losses. A couple wins.
Bolivia. I mean, this is
a couple wins. Embarrassingly, a couple wins to Peru, but
wow. How did you guys lose to Bolivia?
They have high altitude.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. At home to Bolivia is tough.
Yeah. They beat Andorra, but yeah, a lot of losses, like I was saying, a lot of losses. So Bolivia's not coming in the best form. If we look at their squad, let's look.
Can we name a player?
I don't see too many.
No, I don't see a Bolivian
football.
I'm just not gonna lie to you guys. I could act like I'm a football hipster, and like oh yeah, I totally remember this dude who plays for da 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 da. I'm not gonna blow smoke up my ass.
Yeah. Sorry, Bolivia. I'm
sorry.
not familiar with your players. I am. Well, maybe let's see. Let's see if we can name a Panama player. But Panama coming in a lot better form than Bolivia, actually. They got some wins. I mean, to be fair, their conference arguably a little bit easier with all those little island teams that they play, you know.
But it looks kind of like Jamaica. Deals with the lesser teams, but when it comes to the big CONCACAF players, they seem to trip up in performances.
Yeah, that's true. And let's go over to their squad. Let's see if I can name anyone.
I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see anyone.
Nope.
Yep.
Sorry, Panama.
Yeah.
But I imagine you're happy to be in the tournament.
I would say Panama or Bolivia too.
I've kind of already showed my cards. I skipped over you guys. I don't think you're going to cause too much noise, and it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter because neither of you guys make it out of it. So
sorry, just being honest.
But I just based on form. All right, let's go on to Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica. Let's start with the smaller teams since we like.
Yeah, I think that probably worked out a little bit better for that.
Let's go to Paraguay. Let's see at their recent form. So not great, actually. Not very good at all.
No.
Just one win against Bolivia, and then before that, a win against Nicaragua. So not really coming in the hottest form here. And if we look at their squad, let's see. I know there's bound to be one Paraguayan player that we know, right?
We said that about the Panama squad. Miguel Almiron. I forgot.
Oh, yes. I knew there was one player at least. Miguel Almiron, the dude with the magic left foot, who started off pretty hot for Newcastle this past season. Not this season, but the season before.
Mm-hmm. He's a heat check player.
Yeah.
Gets hot really quickly, gets cold really quickly.
Yep, he is. And let's go on to Costa Rica, which, if we look at their recent matches, they're kind of like Panama and kind of like Jamaica, but to a little bit weaker side because they lose against the bigger teams. Like remember when they made it to like the quarterfinals of the World Cup? I totally
remember that.
That was kind of like the craziest, their peak, And I think that's kind of what led Real Madrid to buy Keylor Navas.
Of course.
Because he just put up a crazy performance.
I was about to say, of course we're going to talk about Costa Rica and not bring up the Costa Rican GOAT that is Keylor Navas.
Yeah. And they're coming in good form. They get the job done. Let's look at their players. They have an Argentinian coach. I don't know who this guy is, though, but Argentinian coach.
Gustavo.
And surprisingly, Keylor Navas has not been chosen to participate in this tournament.
He's probably, 40 at this point?
I think he's injured or something.
Maybe.
I think he's injured because he's still a quality goalkeeper.
But nothing. You're not going to find anybody. I would be surprised if you did.
Yeah, they're, I forget what the dude's name, his name was like Brian something.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about Brian
Ruiz, maybe?
Ruiz, yes, from 2012.
Yeah, from the World Cup.
Yeah.
So,
Costa Ricans, let us know if we're putting slander on some of your national players.
Yeah, let us know if we missed anyone. We just we don't recognize.
Or just list us. Send us some knowledge in the comments.
Yeah.
Of Costa Rican GOATs.
Yeah, we're not talking shit. We just don't know.
Yeah,
we don't watch we mainly watch European soccer, so all these South American teams and North American, we don't watch that, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to the big players. Let's move on to Colombia.
Colombia and Brazil.
Let's go to Colombia. Colombia, what is it? 23 now?
23.
23 match unbeaten streak. Pretty freaking impressive if you ask me, right?
Yeah, look, just
if you go back, you just see wins and
draws.
You gotta go back to Argentina and Peru handing them losses.
But that is true. You did be one of the last teams.
Yeah,
that gave them losses.
Yep, and we beat them at home too. So, of course they got the fan favorites. They got an Argentinian coach. It seems like everyone has an Argentinian coach.
I guess so.
What's up with that?
They just love football.
Argentina just has the best coaches, I guess.
I guess so.
David Ospina, former Arsenal.
Ospina, yep. Good for him getting his money in Al Nassr.
Yeah, for sure.
Yuri Mina in Calgary as well.
Yuri Mina, a former Barca player.
Yeah,
he played for Barca.
He played for Barca, Everton.
He was the one who was supposed to take over for Piqué, but it just didn't happen.
Daniel Munoz from Crystal Palace as well.
Yeah. Let's see who else. James Rodriguez, of course.
Yes, Jefferson Lerma from Palace as
Yeah.
Luis Diaz, of course, from Liverpool.
Luis Diaz, dude.
Sinisterra from Leeds.
I feel like Luis Diaz is gonna have a good tournament. I would feel like
Oh,
he's gonna have a good tournament.
one of the player of the tournaments. I remember him doing so well last tournament, and that was the reason why he got on the radar with on Liverpool. I think he does more of the same.
You know what's crazy? I was on Bookmaker earlier making a couple bets because it's totally legal in our state.
Yeah.
And one of the bets was who will score more goals, Lautaro Martinez or Luis Diaz. And the odds for Luis Diaz winning that bet was plus 400. So I put a nice little 20 on that because I think Luis Diaz is bound to get at least 2 goals. I don't think Lautaro gets even 1 goal, man.
Lautaro doesn't perform at the international stage.
He doesn't. He's probably the better player goal scoring wise club, but for national teams it's completely different. It's just Luis Diaz and Colombia's coming in with that hot fucking form. I just think he's bound to score at least 1 more goal than Lautaro Martinez. So I think that's a for sure bet. If you guys want to get onto my betting stuff, let me know because Luke suggested that I start posting that.
Let us know, gamblers, favors of parlays. Let me know.
Yeah.
You want to hear more betting content.
All right.
But I think Brazil.
Would you have something else to add to before?
No, I think what I was about to say. I think we need to go on to Brazil.
Yeah, let's get into Brazil. So Brazil coming in, kind of in a strange form, I would say, because they lose 3 games in a row to Uruguay, Colombia, and Argentina, some of the biggest teams in CONMEBOL. And then they go on to win against England, have an iconic match against Spain, the 3-3, beat Mexico last minute, but can't beat USA. So I'm not sure what that means. I'm getting a little bit of mixed feelings about this Brazilian team. They got great players, of course. Let's look at so they got a Brazilian coach, Dorival Jr. He's coached some of the biggest teams in Brazil, like Sao Paulo, Flamengo.
Yep, you can see that.
Santos, Fluminense, Palmeiras, Vasco da Gama. So he's a Brazilian through and through. So they brought him in to get the job done.
He does. He has a very Brazilian smile.
Yes.
If you know, I mean that in a very good way. Brazilians always have the greatest of smiles.
Yeah. Why didn't Ederson get called up?
He's been kind of injured.
Yeah, I guess he has, but still, they don't fuck with Ederson, though?
No, not with Alisson, bro. Alisson,
okay.
Alisson, bro. I would trust my life with Alisson.
Yeah, he's the better keeper. It's definitely been shown over the last couple.
But that is kind of strange that Ederson is not in the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said,
they got household names all over the place. Danilo from Juventus,
Marquinhos, Widell,
Marquinhos,
Militao,
Gabriel.
Kudo.
You think Gabriel starts for Brazil?
I think he should.
I think he should too.
I think it's a crime if Gabriel doesn't start. He is your centerpiece for being the destroyer in your back line,
especially when you pair him with Marquinhos, who's a little bit more intelligent player.
Exactly. Perfect partnership right there. If he's not on the team, it's as a crime because I think Militao and Gabriel are kind of pretty much similar. But I would have to be honest. I think Gabriel is a better player than Militao.
I would say this. I'm not gonna agree with that.
Oh, really?
But I'll say this.
I'll
say currently, right now, since Militao just came back from a long ACL injury, I would say Gabriel is the better player.
Okay, I'll take that from now. But I do think even with form in play, I think Gabriel is a better player.
We'll see when Eder Militao's back to his best next season.
We'll have to do a maybe
comparison.
Or like a Arsenal Real Madrid 11. Of course, probably.
Oh yeah,
probably maybe a little bit later. Let's see if we get any better players.
We'll do one in peak form and one on current form.
Yeah,
and we'll do it starting next season.
We'll do something like that. But of course, that's the defenders. But then we have Andres Pereira, Douglas Luiz, Bruno Guimaraes, Pepe, João Gomez, Ederson, Rafinha, Paquetá, Vinicius Jr., Martinelli, Endrick. It goes on. Savio, Rodrigo, all of them. You can't.
Yeah.
The whole team is stacked.
You know what's crazy? I think their weakest spot is their midfield because they don't have. They have 6 midfielders. They're obviously going to be an attack-heavy team. They're going to at least play 4 attackers at a time, which means they're going to probably have a double pivot of midfield. and so it's probably gonna be Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's gonna be decent. You put Rodrigo. It looks like they're liking Rodrigo up top with Vinicius Jr. Probably Martinelli and Rafinha on the right side. So, oh, and maybe even Lucas Paqueta because they listed him as a forward, but really he's like a cam. He's like a number 10.
I think so, this is that link.
So yeah, I think overall looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into predictions.
Do you have a preference on one or two for Colombia or Brazil?
Man, I think Colombia is just too hot right now.
I think so as well. I think you have to give it to Colombia.
I think Colombia is just coming in too hot. I think Brazil goes second. It doesn't matter who goes.
But yeah, this is our group stage, and we're going on to the knockout stage, and get some results there. Let's see, move this real quick. Can I make it smaller? I can't make it smaller, so we're just gonna do it right here. All right, cool. So,
Argentina.
yeah.
Sorry, Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can pull on Argentina, props to you, but it's going to be tough.
It will be tough.
The Argentina team is tough to beat.
I don't even consider them really doing much, and if that ever was a matchup in the knockout stages.
Yeah, and not only that, but I don't know if Mexico's sending their best squad either, because like this is a Copa America. They already had their Gold Cup last year. They never really send their best squad. Let me know if I'm wrong, because that's just how it's been in the past. But yeah, Argentina, just because.
Man, yeah.
This next one, though, I would say Ecuador.
I envy Ecuador. Just looking at their path now, seeing if they become winners and seeing all the other stuff. Yeah, that's Ecuador, but I envy their path.
Yeah, they're
because we now see this path now.
Yeah,
but this is a great quarterfinal matchup.
Oof, that's gonna be a tough one, man. I think it really comes to form on this one, and right, because both teams have quality players, and you could easily have Darwin score 2, Vinicius, Rodrigo score 1 apiece, and it could just come down to penalties.
Mm-hmm.
And in Brazil, have been known to maybe not keep their leads, preserve their leads recently, right? What are you leaning to?
I'm gonna have to go with Brazil. I know this is kind of the typical of Brazil. They tend to have this game, they don't deliver. But I'm going to have to stick with my guns in my guts and go with Brazil. I think Brazil still pull it out over Uruguay. I think it's going to be a very interesting match.
I think that's probably going to be one of the matches of the tournament. And I would have to agree. I think Brazil is going to have to. I think they're going to win it. I think they're gonna. I'm gonna say they're not gonna win it convincingly. They're not gonna destroy Uruguay. It's gonna be a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win or a win on penalty. It's gonna be close as you can get it. But I think Brazil ultimately beats them. Right.
And yeah.
And then this is your worst nightmare as a USA fan.
It is. We're gonna get thrashed by Colombia.
The team who just fucking
we're gonna get torched.
Slapped you up.
We're gonna get torched.
You might get torched
while they dance their little samba on us.
Yep.
It's gonna be bad. And to me, as long as all the other CONCACAF members get knocked out,
that's fine.
I'm happy with it. I'm not gonna be. Well, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm happy with it. I'm just gonna be content. I'm going to obviously be a little irritated that we didn't do anything that caused any noise. It's kind of like we're spinning and running in circles with this national team. But that's another video and it's another discussion altogether.
Yeah.
But I would say I would be happy if we just got to the groups.
Yeah.
Or out of the groups.
Yeah.
I misspoke. But that is into the semifinals. And, of course,
it would take something special for Ecuador. Like Ecuador, I think Argentina would have to have a bad day or something, or the football gods just make the post a little bit thicker for Argentina, so they just keep hitting the post, and Ecuador get away with the 1-0 win. But I think logic tells you Argentina's going to win.
That's a great path for them, for Ecuador to get all the way to the semis. I think if Ecuador fans let us know, is that an overachievement or kind of where you want to be? I think that's probably a great performance from an Ecuador team if you guys make it to the semis.
Yeah, I agree.
But to the more interesting semis.
This one's a tough one to pick, right?
Yeah.
This is like form-based. And I just think, I don't know, man. I think based on recent form, my mind says Colombia, but based on like tournament form, tournament form, recent form before that goes out the fucking window, right? Because like, who cares if you played really good? This is competitive matches now. It's who's hot now, who clicked best together, and I think I'm just gonna have to go Brazil on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think we're gonna see a Clasico final.
'Cause I'm actually going for Colombia.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened to you supporting Uruguay with Marcelo Bielsa, dude? You just
I
forgot
did.
about
I
that?
totally just ditched him.
Yeah.
I totally ditched those guys. It's just the way I saw Colombia play. I may be recency bias and everything, but hearing the streak, thinking back to the last Copa America and seeing them play my own team and getting absolutely destroyed in a just a kickabout. Really, they weren't even trying, and I think they're so hot, and I think Luis Diaz is going to be such a key player. I just don't trust at this point Brazil to do anything because I haven't seen in my lifetime them be able to do this, get over the hump. I think they could probably consider going against Uruguay, getting over the hump, but they've always done that. We're over the hump. Brazil's back. Brazil's back, and guess what? They're not. They get beat by Germany, or they get knocked out by some random team.
They get too hype.
Yeah,
they hype up too much.
I'm sorry, Brazil. I would love to rate you, but I'm gonna go with Colombia.
All right, let's go with Colombia for fun.
Really?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
it. Let's do it.
But there you go.
Go either way. I really have no favorites.
Brazil fans, let me know. Am I being overly critical with my takes, or is that correct?
Yeah.
What you think is performed? But do you want to go third place first?
Yeah, third. I think Brazil beats.
Yeah, I think that's a satisfying.
That's fair, right?
Third place win for
and
them.
then I think Colombia. If Colombia beats Brazil, I think they go all the way.
No, that's what I do think as well. Colombia getting knocked out by Argentina last Copa America. I do think that is my big take. They get their revenge. Messi goes out on his last Copa America in the final, but not getting the fairy tale ending he wants. I do believe Colombia are going to lift the Copa America title. That is what I believe.
Yep.
All right. So that is the Copa America predictor for us.
Yeah.
And
let us know if you agree. Let us know if you disagree. Let us know what else you wanted to see in this video. Maybe we didn't cover a team more in detail, and that's just for time's sake, right? So let us know what you thought.
But stick around during this tournament season because we're going to be trying to do streams for myself, of course, whenever Brent likes to come through and do his as well.
Yep.
And then we'll try to get content out for you as this kind of summer months. Even though it's summer, it feels like there's just going to be so much football going on, which is great. So
much football.
Stay tuned with us, guys, and appreciate us tuning in.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.